What happens when what you've prayed for, hoped for, or worked tirelessly toward just doesn't happen? The promotion, the admission, the marriage, the new job, the relocation, the yes you were counting on. Today, let's talk about what happens when life says no, or maybe not yet. Hi everyone, welcome back to Random Talk with NG. I am Ngozi Obiefuna and I am happy to have you listen to me today. Have you ever had a moment where you attended an interview and you were so hopeful? In fact, you were so certain that that job offer was going to come and it never did. A week, a month, 2 months down the line, you even sent reminder mails, tried to follow up, but there was no response. Total, absolute silence. Or have you ever applied for some opportunities, maybe relocation opportunities, with some friends and then they all got theirs, but yours never happened? What about an instance where you've been studying for exams as a group and then everyone seemed to pass, but yours was a case of try again next time? Or a situation whereby you've put in your all in a particular project at work, and then after everything, your hard work, your labor was met with comments that you never expected, negative comments this time around. You know, that silent disappointment after giving your all. I remember once praying for an opportunity so hard, and it seemed like that was the answer to everything. And when it didn't happen, I questioned not just my effort, but my worth. Does this sound familiar to you? When you think about this theme of what if it doesn't happen, there's always this pause between prayers and outcomes. There's this silence after trying. There's this in between about the feeling of being unseen or forgotten. But then there's also a case how sometimes delay or denial is protection. Let me try to see if I can explore any of those sentences I just made. The first one is the silence after trying. So I remember an instance where I really studied for an exam. I was so certain that I was going to pass it this time around. I was so hopeful. I was tired of people even asking me, oh, how far was the problem? Why are you not passing this exam? Like, how do I want to explain to you why I am not passing the exam? Because I know that in that particular instance, I put in all my efforts. I sacrificed a lot. And then when the results came out, oh my goodness. I mean, I got what? A 49. And the pass mark was 50. The pain, the torment, the torture. You know, having to face people and hear them ask over and over again, oh, what happened? Or hear people say, oh, I'm sorry, it didn't work out. Painful times. You know, there's that silence, that sinking feeling that maybe you weren't enough, maybe you missed something. And then if you had prayed, you'd be like, maybe God didn't hear you. And then you start asking yourself, maybe if I put this instead of that in that particular answer, it may have turned out well. We talk so much about when things happen, but we rarely talk about when they don't. And if you've ever felt that ache, you know, that quiet heartbreak that no one sees, then this episode is for you. With regards to that exam, I had done everything right, or so I thought, you know, the prayers, the preparation, the faith, and still nothing. I know it's very hard to describe that mix of frustration and confusion. You start asking questions like, was I not ready enough? And yet, over time, I realized something deeper, that sometimes the disappointment is not a denial, maybe a divine redirection. I know you would ask me why. And really, sometimes closed doors are not always rejection. Sometimes they are protection. So there's this hidden gift of the no, you know. If it does not happen, maybe it's because there's something better being built, something you can't see yet. We often think the waiting season means God is silent, but maybe He's strategic. What if the no you got was saving you from something smaller than what's ahead? What if that delay was building a stronger version of you? Oh, of course. That exam failure built a stronger version of me for sure. And what if the closed door was actually keeping you on the right path? Rejection is often God's way of saying, not this, not now, not here. So, what do you do when it doesn't happen? As humans, first off, you will cry, you will wail, you will weep, you will question your self worth, you will doubt your competence and capabilities, But what do? You should breathe, you pause, and then you keep going. Because your worth isn't tied to the outcomes you get, it's in who you are becoming through the process. I recorded a podcast which I'll be releasing in a couple of weeks with one of my colleagues turned friends, Yemisi, and it was a wholesome episode about, rising above failure. And I could relate to that particular episode simply because I had been in that shoe and I know what it felt, when it looked as though people were going higher and you just stayed stagnant. Others from the outside might see it as you're not pulling your weight, you're not doing enough, but they might never really understand. Wait till you listen to that episode. So you are not what happened to you. You are what you learned through it. And trust me, it's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to cry. But don't let it harden you. Let it humble you. Let it refine you. Let it teach you trust even when you don't understand. A part I want to also talk about is the lesson in letting go. There's something deeply sacred about letting go of something you wanted, you really truly pressed for this. You really wanted this. You felt like your joy will not be complete until you get it. It's not weakness, it's surrender. And surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that even without this, you'll still be okay. You don't have to understand everything to trust the process. Sometimes, or most times, businessmen who dare to dream, they do not have the full picture. A friend of mine says, I don't have the full picture always, but once I start, I create that path and I'm able to toe that way and know that something good will come out of it. Faith is not believing that everything will go your way. Faith is believing you'll be fine even when it doesn't. So maybe it's time to stop asking, why didn't it happen? And maybe start asking, what's this moment trying to teach me? And let's talk about healing. Because not getting what you hoped for, it really truly hurts. And it's okay to admit that. You can love God and still feel disappointed. You can trust the process and still cry in the meantime. And here are some gentle reminders. Feel the loss. Don't rush past it. Acknowledge the grief. When I failed that exam, I wept. And I remember speaking with my friend Nello about it. And I had my friend Rachel around at that time too. And it just didn't make sense to me. Because my friends saw me put in the hours, right? The late nights after work, trying to study. And it just felt like it was a done deal. I'd already even planned where we're going to after the results came out. So imagine the sadness. I remember my dad asking me about my results, and I always found a way to say, okay, I'll talk to you about it. And then when I went home, I actually cried in his arms and I told him that, well, this is the situation of things. And he spoke to me and he told me that I should not rush past it. I should acknowledge the grief. And then he went on to tell me that I should release control. I did my part and now let life do its part. I remember that day, felt like a family meeting in hindsight though. I remember that day, my eldest sister said, your value is not tied to the outcome of this. And I remember her telling me, you came out best in your class in industrial chemistry and you decided to do a quick 360 degree in writing accounting exams. And so we've seen what you could do in the past and we know that you can do even better. And as usual, they always advised me to refocus. I think this was my brother who said that I should use the pause to rediscover what brings me joy outside of achievement. You are not behind. You are being aligned. And that opportunity or the opportunities that didn't open, it taught me patience, perspective, and prayer. Sometimes the greatest blessings are the doors that stay closed. Now, when it doesn't happen, don't rush to replace it. Sit with it. Let it stretch you, not shrink you. Stillness doesn't mean inactivity, it means trust. It's you saying, even if nothing changes right now, I still believe something good is forming beneath the surface. When nothing seems to be moving, something is still growing. And this is where resilience is born, and it's not in motion but in stillness. And amidst all of this, I'm about to tell you, there has to be gratitude in the gap. Gratitude isn't only for answered prayers, because they teach you dependence, faith, and humility. Take a moment to thank God, not just for what happened, but for what didn't. You might not understand it today, but you'll be grateful someday. The older I get, the more I thank God for the things He didn't let happen, because I sit and I'm like, wow. So that's how it could have gone. Oh well. Thank God it didn't happen. Because looking back now, there are things I prayed for that I'm really truly grateful did not happen, because I can see what I was protected from. I can see how I grew in patience, character, and clarity. Sometimes what doesn't happen for you happens for your good. So if it hasn't happened yet, don't lose heart. It may still happen, or something better might replace it. Either way, you are still on the path that's meant for you. I want to give us a new kind of hope in this closing reflection. So, if it does not happen, it doesn't mean it never will. It might mean not yet. It might mean not this way. But you're still seen. You're still growing. You're still becoming. Your story didn't end with that no. It simply turned a page. And when one door closes, it's not rejection, it's redirection towards purpose. If this episode spoke to your heart today, share it with someone who is waiting, hoping, or healing. Remind them that even when it doesn't happen, something better is always in the works. You've been listening to Random Talk with Angie, and you're yet to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. That's not nice. Follow me at Random Talk with Angie. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share with someone whom you know would love this podcast. And as always, stay grounded, stay hopeful, and remember, not every closed door is a loss. Sometimes it's grace.